for the men and women in blue, for the Houston Police Department, for these officers. So I want to thank them for that support. Had a chance to visit with the officers who remain at the hospital. One will be released today. He's not already released, and then had a chance to see the two who are in more serious but stable condition. And let me just tell you, we are so very fortunate to have officers of the quality and caliber chief that we have. They have they are strong. As you know, one of the officers, as you've reported, was shot previously, but came right back to the force and still moving forward. And this time was shot again, and had a chance to visit with him. And quite frankly, we just had to kind of just step out of the room because he just wanted to engage. He just has as my mom would say, he has a very strong constitution. Okay, a very strong constitution. And even in his situation, working that smile up on his face, wanted to communicate, and when he couldn't talk, got a pad and a pencil and was writing and communicating with us. That tells you the sort of person that we have. Another one, a serious condition, and I'm not calling any names, but someone who had gotten a college degree in another field and was doing some other things, but it wasn't gratifying for him. And then he decided to become a police officer. And as his family has indicated to me, it was like the light went off. And he was once he became a police officer, he found his calling, and he was happy in what he has been doing. And he too has a strong constitution, a strong will, and we wish him well. His mom wanted me to put forth this message, and that is to let the public know how police officers, men and women in blue, how they come and they put forth and they sacrifice themselves every single day. That they go into places not recognizing or realizing what the danger will be, or what sort of dangers that they will face, but they do it anyway. His mom wanted for me to say to the general public that these are individuals who serve others, sacrifice for others, sometimes risking their own lives. And she initially, my mom was saying, didn't know whether or not her son should continue to do afterwards, but also recognize like the 50, 200 police officers that we have, that this is a part of their calling. This is what they do. This is the sacrifice that they make, and we should all appreciate and value what they do every single day, every minute of the hour, every hour of the day, because we don't know what would happen when they are called upon to respond to a call, or they're trying to serve a warrant, and what sort of responses they will get. So I want us to continue to lift up the family, their spouses, their children, their parents, because it's hard on them as well. And then I cannot say enough for our police officers who have just been there around the clock, and their police officers literally that have been around the clock. Chief Acevedo, I don't think he has slept, or his command staff, I don't think they have slept at all. So I want to thank them and continue to thank what I believe is the best medical team in the country, Memorial Hermann. Let me just give a shout out to them, because the medical staff from top to bottom, the medical staff has been incredible, incredible. And I will tell you, yesterday, when I got the call and came here, Chief, we did not know whether or not one or two of them would make it. That was on yesterday, but today their situation still serious but stable, and we're very grateful and thankful because prayer does work. I'm a politician, okay? I'm a public official, But if you allow me to say this, one thing I do know, there is power in prayer.
Absolutely.
And prayer does work. And I know oftentimes you hear us saying, pray for the officers, pray for those who are injured. But I want you to know yesterday, when they brought one of them here, things did not look good. But they immediately were able to rush the person to surgery, and things got better. And so there is power in prayer. It does work. I want to ask that you continue to pray for each and every one of them for a full recovery, so that they can get back on their feet, get back to what they have been doing, what they've been called to do, and that's continuing to protect the people in this city. So, but let me just say, criminal activity in our city, you know, if you see something, you say something, okay? The best way to keep things of this nature from happening, of course, is on the preventive end. So if you see something, say something. Know your neighbors. You see something that's happening that's not that's out of the ordinary. If you see some illegal activity that's taking place, please report it, because all of us have to be a part of protecting the city that we deeply love. And let me say, as I tweeted out on last night, City of Houston has gone through a lot, okay, in the last 2 to 3 years. We've gone through a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak, but let me also say to you, the City of Houston is still standing. The spirit has not been broken, and we are still Houston strong. And if there was anybody if you even doubted it, then I can point you to this hospital, to some officers that are in this hospital that were shot, and they are still standing, representing the strength of our city. And I'm so proud of them, and I'm so proud of the people that live in our city. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned making sure that neighbors keep their eyes and ears glued in the event that they see something suspicious to prevent this from happening. From the perspective of your position as mayor in your office, what can be done to prevent this? Well,
you know, of course, you know, we have 5,200 police officers. On yesterday, let me just take place of what happened yesterday. We had the press conference announcing the Tillman facility, the training facility. That will help quite a bit, because we have a number of people who are stepping up, philanthropists. That'll be the 4th facility of its kind. That's important. We still need more police officers. Okay, conservatively speaking, we need about 600 more. We need more police officers. There's no question about that. We have 5,200 police officers covering 640 square miles. And if you take Chicago has 12,000 police officers covering 275, less than half the space. So we need more. We need more community engagement. And this is not police versus community or community versus police. We are all on the same page, working for the same goals, and that's to keep our city safe. And so the community has to participate as well, okay? So if you see something, say something. If you know something, say something. If you see illegal activity, report it, okay? That will help as well. So police and community working together on behalf of everybody that lives in our city.
You talk about Mayor say something, from Chief Acevedo to Joe Gamaldi, talking about the need for politicians to do their part in this discussion. We know you have the Commission to End Gun Violence, and we've covered you going to DC to politic for change. What else can you do on behalf of the City of Houston, either on the state or the federal level, to get people to notice this?
Well, I think you mentioned some of it. We have put forth the Mayor's Commission on the End Gun Violence. Those recommendations have been put forth, and we are now in the legislative process, so we'll see what turns out there. Certainly we need our federal partners to participate. We've talked about trying to get a handle on all the guns that are on the street and the illicit drug activity that's taking place. So we need help on that end as well. It's going to take all of the partners, you know, federal, state, and local, working together. This is not a partisan issue, okay? This is a people's issue, and it's going to take us all working together to make that happen. On the local level, we do need more police. We do need to improve the conditions of many of our neighborhoods, and we're working on what we call creating complete communities, bringing up all communities, so that every neighborhood in which you live is a neighborhood of opportunity. That's important, okay? That's critically important. And what we are trying to do is create the division, okay? Eliminating this division, because you want law enforcement and community working together. Because most people, 99% of people are supportive, but we need to be vocally supportive and show it in our actions. And I think the demonstration of love for these police officers are demonstrating that. So this is a time, this is one of those times, in the midst of so much division, for all of us to come together, okay? This is the time where we need to come together, not just when police officers are injured or killed. The question is, a month from now, 2 years from now, will the same spirit of appreciation, respect, will it still exist? Okay? And that's the hope. So this is the time when we need to come together to be supportive of one another, supportive and protective. Police officers are out here protecting the community. The community has to also be out protecting the police officers as well as themselves.
Mayor, this is the second time in a little bit over a month that you've been here at this hospital speaking about officers who have been injured in the line of duty.
Yes.
I mean, just talk to me about the fact that you're having to do this again in such a short period of time. And I mean, just the violence that these officers are up against when they're doing their jobs day in and day out. What are your thoughts?
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I don't want to forget Officer Daly, because Officer Daly was seriously burned when he was, his vehicle was hit by the DWI. Drinking while driving doesn't work. So I don't want to forget him. And he will be in the recovery phase for quite some time. And it's kind of, sometimes the things can be lost when these events, the shooting or the injuries to 5 police officers take place. It kind of, it becomes front and center. But just like on yesterday, we had a press conference announcing that in our city, when it comes to violent crimes from last year compared to the year before, the percentage of violent crimes was down in our city. In non-violent crimes, the percentage was down in our city. In almost every category, crime was down. Homicide ticked up a little bit, 3.7% from the year before. But when you look at non-violent crimes as a whole and non-violent crimes in our city, it's going down. But if there is one crime, if there is one homicide, it's one crime too many. And so the goal is to get it down to 0. That's the goal. And so I do want to commend HPD, Houston Police Officers, Chief Officer Vader's command staff, and 5,200 police officers for doing an exemplary job of tackling and addressing crime in our situation and keeping people safe. Now, having said that, no one wants to end up at Hermann Memorial for incidents of this kind. No one wants to. And the hope is, and we're working every day, is that we don't have to do that we don't have to have these sort of events in our city. But it's going to take a collective effort on everyone's part, but when you just look at the raw numbers, okay, and the number of violent crimes and non-violent crimes in the city of Houston, with the exception of homicide ticking up slightly, that number is down, which is a good thing for the city. But
last question, please.
So you keep talking about the police officers, and you're beating a drum here. Chief Acevedo talking constantly about the need. What does it come down to? Do you not have enough applications? Do you need more money? Like, what's it going to take for the city of Houston to hire 600 more cops?
Well, it's certainly going to take more resources. That's a critical component. No one runs away from that. It's going to take more resources in order to hire more. Okay. But it's also going to take even more cooperation and partnership from governments on all different levels. It's going to take more support just coming from the community itself, because we all have to be accountable for what takes place in our city. I'm not just going, and you can't just rely on police to solve every problem or every crime. Okay, police, they're one component. But the community is also a vital component, That's important. They work hand in hand. And then we have to work in tandem with all of law enforcement agencies, with all of the various community organizations. We have to do what we can to address what's happening in our communities, in our neighborhoods, on that particular street, what's happening next door. All of that takes place in order to keep a community, make a community safer. Now, are we working in that direction? Absolutely. Are we where we want to be or need to be? No. But we are moving in that direction each and every day. We're moving in that direction. We need to stop a lot of these drugs that are coming into our cities. And let me just say, a lot of these drugs are not made and manufactured here. They are brought in here. And so we need to work on that. So there are a number of the battle line is on so many different levels. But I do believe we can be successful if we work in tandem and partnership with one another. Okay? Anything else? Chief?
That's it. No, good, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Councilman? Okay. Anything? Thank you all so much. Again, continue to pray for the officers that remain in the hospital. Thank you all so very much.